I was sitting with my back to the window, and my little lady was playing at my feet, when suddenly she crept softly to my knees, and putting her mouth to my ear, she whispered, "Look, look, there is my little girl." I turned round, and there at the window, which was blurred and nearly covered with the fast-falling snow, stood a little girl, side by side with the winter child, spelling and smiling. I think I must have fainted, for it seemed as if I saw nothing for a moment. Then the blind fear came over me, and I snatched up Miss Rosamond and ran with her to the bell. The servants all came up, gathering round me and my darling, who was screaming by this time out of fright at my terror. We huddled together, servants and all, near the fire, which I stirred up to a great blaze. All at once, a dead, still silence fell upon us all. I had been kissing and coaxing Miss Rosamond to leave off her screaming, and when she was quiet, I heard a light, soft step, an ill-defined sound, come processing up the great staircase. We all heard it. The men looked at each other with blank faces. "It's the wind," said my lord's gentleman. But just then it ceased, and we heard a faint click, click, and then a sound as of a heavy body being dragged along the floor. Oh, the terror of that creeping sound! It ceased, and then began the most awful sound, a sound of music. The great organ in the hall struck up with the same funeral air I had heard before. We looked at each other, pale and trembling. "It's the old lord," said Dorothy in a low whisper. "Always before Christmas time." And then we heard a cry and a sort of sharp, wild roll of the organ, and in the middle of it came a sound as if of a child's voice, wailing and wailing, and the servants all said it was the crying of the little girl who was starved to death. But the most dreadful thing was that we heard the great hall door open, and then a little light footstep running pattering up the stairs. I held my darling tight. The next thing I remember, they all said I was asleep, but I saw all that happened. The great drawing-room door was wide open, and I saw my lady's aunt rise up and go to the door and look down the great staircase. And quite clearly I saw a little child with her arms stretched out and her face looking up. And I saw my lady's aunt float down and down till she came to the bend, and then she gathered the little child in her arms. And what was the old lord doing? He was sitting in his great chair, and his eyes were like burning coals, and he struck the little child on the shoulder with his crutch.